My 34 female husband, 30 male, said I wasn't attractive enough to cheat on him? My husband is gorgeous. Everybody says so. I consider myself pretty but unremarkable. My features aren't exactly supermodel material, but I do the best I can with what God gave me. I have nice skin thanks to skincare, a decent body thanks to the gym, and so on. But compared to my husband, I might as well be a troll. Even my own mom thought my husband must be gay and in the closet or hiding sketchy things because of how much more attractive he is than me. It's the first thing people notice when we're out. I've had women flirt with him right in front of me and have had 2 girls I know try to get with him behind my back. Even I question why he's with me sometimes. I'm insecure about it, but my husband has always said that he loved me and thought I was beautiful and to not listen to other people. Yesterday changed everything. I bumped into an old boyfriend from college. We parted on good terms and it turns out he's doing very well for himself in his career. I'm looking to change jobs and I'm pretty decent at what I do. We exchanged LinkedIns. There was nothing inappropriate about our conversation and I would have no problem if my husband was there to hear it. My husband started an argument the minute I came home. He said he read through my LinkedIn message and swore my ex was flirting with me. I said he wasn't. My husband then made fun of my ex's looks and it was some of the cruelest things I've ever heard him say. I told him to stop and that we could talk when he wasn't acting this way. He said that if that guy became my coworker and I cheated on him. Then he scoffed and said, "You're not attractive enough to cheat on me, not enough to keep me." I was speechless. He then slammed the door to our bedroom and locked me out for the night. I went to sleep on the sofa and woke up tucked into bed. I can vaguely remember him waking me up. Today he was incredibly sweet and kissed me before going off to work. I can still remember the play-by-play of what happened, but it's like my memory was outside of my body. I have literally never heard him say something like that. Ever. I feel so upset and uncomfortable. What do I say to him? How do I just ask him what was he thinking and what possessed him to say the things he did and if he really meant them? Mask slipped. So, you kinda blew by the hole. He was reading your LinkedIn while you were out. What other things is he going through without you knowing? How many times has he gone through your phone? He ain't pretty, he just looks that way. You need to have a conversation and do not let him turn it around on you. Well, if you hadn't, you met up with your ex. He's going to be the sweetest, most wonderful husband who brings you flowers and does little things for you. This is called love bombing, because he knows he fucked up. Whether or not it's because he's setting you up for more abuse or not is the question. I think you know deep down the answer to your question, and nothing he could say would explain away the truth. Regardless of what he has said before, he has deep-rooted feelings that he is more attractive and better than you. I could never ever be vulnerable and feel loved if my husband said that to me. He should feel like you are a catch and the best thing that ever happened to him. There are some things that just can't be unsaid. Maya Angelou's famous quote is famous for a reason. Have a long think if this is something you're willing to put up with being thought about you by someone who promised to cherish you. If the person who promised to love me until the end of my days said this to me and locked me out of the room for the night, the next word from me he'd hear would be from a divorce lawyer. And you need therapy to work on your self-esteem, because no person in their right mind would put up with a partner being verbally abusive like this. I'd see how upset he was. He read through your messages then berated you within 1 minute of coming home? Did he read them before you got home? That's crazy. My girlfriend, 25 female, victim blamed me, 28 male, when I got attacked on a night out. On Saturday I went out for drinks with a friend that I had not seen in a while. We went to a few bars then ended up in a small nightclub. The club wasn't really busy. I went to the bar to get a drink and there was a woman stood waiting. I asked her if she was being served already and she said she was. She then said she likes the tattoo I had on my arm, so I said thanks and asked if she had any tattoos. A guy came over and started arguing with me for talking to his girlfriend. I told him I only asked her a question and that he should drop it. He ended up punching me, which left a bruise on my cheek. He got kicked out immediately and the woman apologized for him. I went home. Then the following morning my girlfriend mentioned the bruise on my face and I told her what happened. She then started asking how close I was to this woman and why I was talking to her. I just explained it was just small talk while waiting to be served, but she just said I shouldn't have been talking to her. I got angry at this and pointed out she was blaming me for the guy assaulting me, which she denied, but just said again I shouldn't have spoke to the woman and wouldn't have been punched if I didn't talk to her, and I got angry and pointed out she was victim blaming me as I had done absolutely nothing wrong, but she said I shouldn't be having a go at her. How would you handle this? Too long did not read. On a night out I made small talk and ended up getting punched because of it. My girlfriend then questioned how close to the woman I was and mentioned that I shouldn't have been speaking to her and wouldn't have gotten punched if I didn't talk to her. I got angry and accused her of victim blaming, but she said I shouldn't be having a go at her. Bottom line is that your girlfriend is more upset that you made small talk with a woman than she is that you got punched in the damn face. That's not the kind of person I'd want to be with. You were a victim. Your girlfriend is being an utter ass. You deserve better. I got angry at this and pointed out she was blaming me for the guy assaulting me, which she denied, but just said again I shouldn't have spoke to the woman and wouldn't have been punched if I didn't talk to her. What an unhelpful thing to say to you. Gee, thanks for telling me the obvious, asshole. I also wouldn't have been in a fight if I hadn't been at that bar. Or hadn't been out with my friend. Yeah, absolutely victim blaming, but you know that already. Consider whether she was victim blaming you because you talked to another woman, and she doesn't want to just come out and say that. If victim blaming is unlike her based on past situations, then maybe this is why. Have you asked about getting footage from the bar? It should be easy to ID the guy and press charges. A friend of mine got sucker punched twice at 2 separate bars in 1 year and reported both to police. Both men were easily found through credit card receipts, and with the video evidence it was a clear-cut case. People who do shit like this are insane and need to be taught consequences. You can't go around assaulting people because you feel like it. Lots of people have been killed over bar fights, random punches like this. Hold your ground. Dude was violent and insecure, and that's not on you. Your girlfriend, it seems, is also insecure unless she knows something not being said here. Your girlfriend's reaction is inappropriate and harmful. It's important to understand that you were not the cause of the assault. The man who punched you is responsible for his actions, and blaming you is unfair and victim blaming. It's crucial to have a calm and open conversation with your girlfriend to address this issue and help her understand why her reaction is wrong. My husband, 27 male, compared my 27 female, to feces. What advice on if this is rude? So a few months ago, my husband walks into the bedroom and informs me that there was a bit of blood on the edge of the toilet seat and asked if I could clean it. I apologized and said of course. I use a cup and I don't turn the light on in the middle of the night in the bathroom as to not wake up more. He had used a really grossed out tone, and I said, I'll be more careful, but it is natural. To which he said, yeah, so is shit. That deeply upset me, and made me feel ashamed. I had inconsistent periods for a year or so before finally being regular again. I'm a healthy young woman, and thankful I get regular periods. So now he informs me about his shits, and when I scrunch my nose or say, ew, he how, but it's natural, in a sort of mocking tone. I'd love advice on what to do about this. Thank you. Yellow heart. Edit. This also goes for period sex. He refuses to look down to clean, almost gagging even though he says he doesn't mind doing it, and now has stopped completely. If it gets a tiny bit on the sheet, if something leaks, it happened once and he freaked out, and again, I felt shame, etc. It's okay to be bothered by blood, but acting childish about is indeed rude. You are married to a very immature man. It happens with my wife occasionally, and I simply use a Clorox wipe and clean it. If you have children, how is he going to react to changing diapers? This is wild. If I left behind a drop of blood in my own bathroom, I'd never know because my husband would wipe it up and probably not ever bring it up to me. If he dribbles on the seat, I don't chastise him about it. I clean the seat and carry on with my life. Your husband sounds squeamish at best and immature as fuck at worst. Why are you having sex with someone who makes you feel shame? If the cleanup grosses him out, he doesn't get to make the mess. Stop having sex with this person. He needs to grow the fuck up. My husband literally helped clean me after my C-section. He literally helped change my pads and clean me without flinching. When he makes his shit comments again, tell him to grow the fuck up. He's a married man scared of period blood. He probably has no idea about cycles or why women bleed. I'd sit his ass down and give him an anatomy lesson. Gross. I only ever compare my wife's period to laying eggs. How to approach removing my M26 fiance F26 as an authorized user. Hello. I am engaged to be married next year, and my fiance is expecting. For context, I work roughly 60-70 hours per week, earning about $70,000 per year, while she works 25-35 hours a week, earning $30,000 per year. I split our big expenses like insurance, rent, etc. 66-33. She contributes $660 a month for our $2,000 a month rent. Last year I had to get a balance transfer from her personal credit card in my name because she had maxed it at $2,900 without having the income to pay it down. This past February we took a trip to Japan and Korea to visit her sister, and opened another credit card with no foreign transaction fees to make our trip easier. I added her as an authorized user at that time. Unfortunately, to date she has spent $6,260 on the card, but only repaid $2,601. I have been trying to make up the difference, but it is challenging and I have to work really hard every month to make it happen. These past few months I haven't been able to pay it all down. It's been hanging at around $3,000, $4,000 since August. It's clear to me that I need to get more strict with finances, however I am not sure what the best way to break the ice is. I will always make sure she's taken care of, and we are able to do things we want to do. I am committed to her 100%, she is the one for me. What's the best way to tell her that I am removing her as an authorized user from the credit card? Any advice would be appreciated. Update. She agreed to hand over the card, and asked that I not remove her as an authorized user for another 4 months because it will hurt her credit score. I think this is an agreeable compromise. Sit down and have an adult discussion. But don't you think it's a bad idea marrying someone with no financial self-control? Finances can break marriages. You can never depend on her to be responsible. Sit her down and tell her? If she's really the one, she'll listen, understand and change her spending habits over time. I think if she wants the marriage to work, she shouldn't be trying to add more debt to your lives before you've even started building a family. I'm taking you off the card because you can't spend like a reasonable human being. That being said, good luck never retiring. How have conversations about finances gone in the past, because it sounds like she has bad spending habits if she is not only overspending now but has done so in the past. Tell her you are reorganizing your finances and getting rid of that card. The account will remain open only to pay down the balance, it will no longer accept charges. Financial compatibility is pretty important in relationships. It's not just the credit card that's the issue. You should sit down with either a therapist or a financial advisor together before you get married to see if your goals align. I also recommend Ramit Sethi's podcast. He talks to couples about money. It's both entertaining and educational.